Our mission as an organization is to create a more just and equitable food system in the DC area, and we do that through our youth farm education program, our military veteran farmer training program, the mobile market program that we manage, as well as our 2 farm models, our flagship site, Market Garden, and then our 2.3 acre production farm, which I was brought on to begin last season. So this is kind of a bird's eye view from Richmond Highway of our growing fields. Sorry, it's not a little brighter, but it's a 2.3 acre production farm that's tractor based, and we have, it sits on a 20 acre property which is owned by the National Historic Trust for Preservation. And we're just next to Fort Belvoir and 3 miles down the road from George Washington's Mount Vernon. So we're a little bit peri-urban in terms of the urban farming topic. And we've got a 1,500 square foot greenhouse where we do our own start propagation. And we have 2 farm vehicles that were generously donated, a wash facility up at our flagship garden, a cool walk-in cool bot, and both of our farms with each farm has a staff person, and then it's primarily volunteer run. So just wanted to note, I think one of the only nonprofit models up here, so it's a little bit different the way that those programs work and operate. That's our wash facility. So just wanted to say a note about the purpose of our farm. We're primarily growing for a mobile market program. That's our #1 mission. Our mobile markets go into low food access communities in the DC area, and it's a really interesting program that I don't have time to describe today, but we try and grow some specialty crops that our customers can't find elsewhere. So okra is one that folks don't often see growing. I think it's a beautiful crop. We grow a lot of cooking greens. Rape or canola greens are something that we've been experimenting with growing because we can't seem to find it in a lot of markets, and our customers are interested in that. We've got collard greens, beets, scallions, tomatoes, squash, all sorts of stuff. And our mobile market also purchases from other area farms. The secondary purpose is to serve as a training campus for our military veteran farmer training program, who are learning, they're dipping their toe in the water of thinking about owning their own farm businesses after having transitioned out of the military. We're also just a forward-facing farm, a much more public and open-handed example of sustainable farming in the Mid-Atlantic for volunteers to get their hands dirty and make mistakes and just see what the hard work is like to grow food in this region. We also have sometimes picking days on the farm where people come, learn how to pickle. This is a group of volunteers picking an excess. We timed this around our big boom in cucumber production so that at a time when our markets couldn't handle all the cucumbers we were growing, that we could do something with that excess and have a little education opportunity. We have regular volunteers out around 6 days a week, and they do everything from planting to harvesting, and I do the training on food safety and trying to make sure that volunteers who aren't required to be there every day aren't sort of obliged to the farm in the same way that an employee would be, are sort of achieving these high standards for our customers. 3 minutes. Our partnerships along the way have been with George Washington's Mount Vernon, who have been hugely supportive of our efforts by lending equipment and expertise. We rent our land from the National Historic Trust for Preservation, and Mission Continues, which is a veteran service organization, has done a lot to help us with our infrastructure here. They are helping us build our greenhouse, hoop house for plant starts. We work with, we donate a lot of our excess produce to United Community Ministries just down Richmond Highway from us, as well as the Arlington Food Assistance Council, who will send out food gleaners to our fields when we're finished producing in those fields, and they'll take those back to their constituents so that we can quickly turn over our field and plant a new crop or a cover crop. Just a quick note about nonprofit farm management. We are operating in a really different way from a production farm and from what I was used to at Potomac Vegetable Farms, because we're focusing a little bit more on education and also on reducing the price of our product that would normally go at a higher rate at markets in the DC area, because we're trying to make it more accessible. So that's kind of an interesting piece about the way that our production farm is run, and it sort of reduces productivity but makes the farm more of a living classroom. We are funded primarily through grants, and that's how we fund our personnel on the farm. And then we try and use foundation funding and private fundraising campaigns to fund a lot of the supplies and big infrastructure purchases that we make for the farm. So we took the farm, this old horse pasture from this, and turned it into a productive fruit and vegetable growing operation. In year one, we spent around $20,000 in supplies. We bought a tractor package with mower and disc and loader for around $20,000 that we fundraised for through private donations. We estimate that we made around $25,000 in wholesale sales to our mobile market program, and a few, very few restaurant sales, but that was the sort of offset cost that we provided to our mobile market program was around $25,000. We grew around 20,000 pounds of produce, and then through an interesting spreadsheet system that I'm happy to share with any of the growers who are interested, we calculated that out to be around 80,000 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables through an interesting Excel sheet. Year two, you can see $15,000 so far of expenses. We're drilling a well, and that is going to cost us around $25,000, which we fundraised for, and we're looking for electricity now. So if anyone knows about solar panel grant writing, we're off the grid even though we're in suburbia. And so far we've grown around 25,000 pounds of produce, which is over 102,000 serving fresh fruits and vegetable servings. Next year we're looking to expand staff potentially by hiring 2 new veteran farm fellows, hopefully get electricity on site to power our greenhouse and our well, and potentially think about a farm incubator program, since we do have additional land that could be available to the graduates of our military farm program. And a deer fence, please. A better deer fence. Thanks very much.